Good evening, good evening out here in Facebook land, YouTube, all social media out platforms that we're on. This evening we're gonna jump right into it because we got a little party jumping off this weekend, or should I say, the rest of the week. We talking about Carnival or Carnival, as us Yanks would say
Yes,
it.
Carnival.
So
Yes.
I'm not that have that much understanding on it, so I'm gonna rely on my brother over here to help me out and help us that don't understand what carnival is. So, what is carnival? From what I know, what carnival is the celebration of our emancipation throughout the islands, the Caribbean islands, and the rest in other parts of the diaspora that we was enslaved.
Yes, we was free.
that we got our freedom. So this is why we celebrate now.
Indeed.
So I will ask you, where did carnival originate?
Well, I want to say, the way it's portrayed, I think, um, probably in Trinidad. I mean, definitely not Jamaica, but I think Trinidad because in the Caribbean, Jamaica got their independence first, then Trinidad. In terms of the dates, and I think based on their culture and how they did things in Trinidad. That was one of the first places I think that celebration took place. But then again, you had different types of festivities that occurred. Whether it's Emancipation Day or just certain amount of freedom. You did have that kind of celebration in Haiti, but definitely within the Caribbean islands, when everybody got news that they was free, yeah, they took to the streets to celebrate. In but it the idea of the carnival vibes definitely came from France. It's a French style celebration.
Mhm.
So that, and of course being in the Caribbean, and Caribbean people of African descent, we gonna make it our own, you know. And so, music, you know, lined and rhythmed with, African beats, very strong African beats, Indo African beats, Indian beats, um, you know, makes the whole melodic aspect of carnival what it is today. Um, then you add in costumes, then you add, you know, debauchery when it comes to, but the reveling, the whole aspect of carnival is about the reveling. What kind of good time are you going to have? A little bit or a lot? Will you be able to know your name after a little bit, or will you be able to know who you are after a lot? So,
Okay, so yeah, so as you say, it was brought um it coming off it was given to us off let's say Mardi Gras, our adaptation of Mardi Gras. So when does that usually goes down, what, around in February?
Mardi Gras is in Feb. Well, Mardi Gras is wherever the calendar lays it, it ends. It's usually the week or the weekend before Ash Wednesday. So Mardi
Mm-hmm.
Gras leads all the way up to the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, which for them is called Fat Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same on the same calendar. So wherever that calendar is in the year for Ash Wednesday, Carnival in Trinidad as well also ends on the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. And the weekend leading up to Ash Wednesday, is filled with wicked entertainment and events. Um, so if you are ever planning to go to experience Carnival, not just in Trinidad, but definitely if you're going to Trinidad to experience Carnival, there's only two things that I would say. Make sure you get your little exercise going on, get in shape, and save some money. Carnival in Trinidad is period not period cheap period exclamation sign. Okay.
Oh, Ira, you ain't even say hydrate. You just said exercise and get your money up.
Oh, yeah, the hydration part comes later, man. That comes while you're there. That comes while you're there, whether it's by yourself or you're getting force fed. Yeah, man. But so yeah, and so to take it back a little bit, from my own understanding. So what you see, the representation of Carnival now is not what its original intent was in terms of how people are dressed. Um, and I think the stories that are told through our from our slave ancestors, a lot of those stories were and are depicted in the way we celebrate in um, in Carnival. So if you go to Grenada, Grenada is probably a perfect, probably one of the original carnivals or original vibe in how they have stayed true to their Jap carnival, um, and they've stayed true to the ancestors in most of the way they celebrate, and and it's channeling definitely ancestors through the streets in not necessarily pretty costumes, but in the way that they were told, their ancestors, celebrate, they march through the streets in unison and in rhythmic unison, covered in, you know, whether it's tar and, paint or what have you, but marching in unison as a collective, to showcase, the cohesiveness of the people of the slaves as they, march and celebrated their freedom. So last year during COVID, the heights of COVID, it was such a beautiful thing when people from Grenada were posting, different videos, and one of the more remarkable videos, like because all the islands were shut down last year, so there was nothing going on. But I think Grenada was one of the first islands to declare no COVID, and there were no COVID. They were COVID free for like a month, and so to celebrate that, they had a small slick style of sort of carnival celebration. One of the things that they did, there was about maybe 50 people in this particular group, and they were all dressed in the way they normally dress, chains, and things that were reminiscent of slavery, vestiges, masks, what have you. you know, not necessarily, like I said, not pretty, but they all were marching and japping, in unison through the streets. There was no music, there was no truck. They created their own music through voice and rhythm of the feet and just that. noise and sound just going through the street was just like beautiful. So it was just like, the cadence of it, chop 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 chop, going through the street. And so that was just like, that was an awesome thing to watch and see, in video form.
Okay.
you know but so like I said, so this week is Carnival, and pretty much most of the events, not the Carnival Cup, but most of the events for people making money and all the parties. The parties officially kick off, I think, tonight. They may have had some stuff going on tomorrow, but usually about tonight and tomorrow, definitely tomorrow, all the parties kick off tomorrow. Leading all the way up till Monday. Um, so there is, I think, Panorama, which is the Festival of the Steel Pan, and that's a competition between steel pan groups, and then there's Juve. So Juve was sort of like how the whole carnival vibes really started, and the whole idea behind that. Well, part of the idea is that through slavery we had all this, the dirtiness, all the evil on us, all the, everything that was weighing us down. So that could be people, adorned in mud, in paint, in tar, anything that would convey the idea that you're just dirty, and you go and you revel and you have an awesome time. And then at the end of Juve, you would cleanse yourself, wash yourself off, whether, and be now ready, which now for, ready for Lent. But then, of course, the mass part of the carnival started, and so now that meant that you are now ready to receive, the new adornment. So it's like wash off the old, in with the new, um, and be ready, to celebrate the newness, um, by dressing and adorning in pretty cool costumes. So now you're just like this new person, this new pretty person. So that takes place this Sunday, and everything is going on this year now at Miami Fairgrounds, so down south, somewhere down, yeah, down there in south. And I think that was basically to put everything together in the same place. So now they're doing a lot of COVID protocols, and several of which, one, you gotta have a negative PCR test. You can start getting those tested from tomorrow. When you're there, you gotta wear a mask, which is that's gonna be difficult because I tried it at a party last year. Child, look at, I thought I was about to die, and I was just jumping up outside by the pool, So, and now you outside in the middle of the sun, hot. Jesus, Lord, have mercy. Yeah, and then of course, one of the coolest things about Juve, especially when my experience of it in Trinidad, when I went to Trinidad in 2011. That was my first carnival, and I'm definitely gonna go back. Um, there's everybody, and when I say everybody from all over the globe that's there in Trinidad, I'm not exaggerating. And so there are so many people that come to Trinidad. It's amazing, in all shades of color, in all shapes and sizes, whether you small, whether you very tall, whether you moderate, whether you're large this way or you're large that way, it don't matter. And everybody goes there. And one of the things that most people will end up telling you is that at the end, or even before, once they really get warmed up, you feel like this is the place to just be totally free. And it's almost the whole emancipating aspect of Carnival, at least definitely for me, is, and for me, soca music, during Carnival, or just soca music in general, it allows me to feel a certain kind of freedom, and I think, definitely conveyed through the ancestors. Um, even more so for me than reggae. I grew up in a country where reggae was king, and I come here and I discovered more different types of soca, and I just totally fell in love. And soca is definitely in line with my personality. So yes, go there and rock it out, baby. You know. So.
So so we already discussed when it happened, which I
Mhm.
got. It's my Mardi Gras usually have always is 47 days preceding Easter and 40 days plus 7 for Lent.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's when it goes down.
Yeah, so I guess that's 7 days plus the 40 days, up to to Easter Sunday. So, you know, um, yeah, but not all, so not all the carnivals, in the Caribbean, celebrate that. They don't all have their carnivals at the same time, which
Hmm.
would, from a tourism, perspective, that would make sense for a lot of people. So a lot of the smaller islands, they start having their carnivals early on. So early, before Trinidad and after Trinidad's carnival. And yeah, so the bulk of the carnival is in the beginning of the year, and then of course, there's Lent, um, Easter, and then I guess after Mother's Day. So that's May, February, March, April, May. Yeah, and then you'll start having some more, late in the later part of summer, so August, and so it comes outside of the Caribbean. Now are you into Europe? Are you into Canada? There's Carnival in Canada. There's Carnival in Notting Hill. Notting Hill or Nottingham Hill? Notting Hill Carnival. There's Carnival in Berlin. There's Carnival in Spain. And so there's some terminologies that you want to know. So there's a person who pretty much through the year will go to almost every carnival or most of the carnivals. Like literally, they will travel from carnival to carnival. You call that person a soca jumbe. That person, soca is their life. Soca is their heart. you know, and no matter where this carnival is, I must go to this carnival. So not only are people spending money, just to go to one carnival, there are people that spend money and visit most of the carnivals, especially most of the carnivals in the Caribbean, or all the carnivals in the Caribbean. So earlier I said, two things, get help, get in shape, and save money. So now you're not just spending money on travel, airfare, hotel, and obviously food. So the bulk of your money is going to be in lodgings, for sure, and then of course another set of your money is going to be in the monies that you pay for parties, and then the money that you pay for your costume, whether you're doing Juve or Juve and Mass Carnival. So you have to pay for your costumes, and those costumes from Mass are not cheap, especially in Trinidad. They are not cheap, and I've seen where costumes have gone. People spend upwards of $10,000 and then some for mass carnival costumes, because and then in a lot of these groups, as I said earlier, they try to tell a story with the design of their costumes. So it's not just about putting on a pretty costume and look cool. People are in a group and they're representing a certain theme, within each group. And so that could be a theme that's just a theme, or a theme that actually tells a story. If especially if you have one large band that's broken down into several groups. So and as bands go, you have representation for different groups within a band. So here, two of the fame, Red Ants, Gen X, Bliss, these are bands, and they're very large bands, and they have sister bands in Trinidad that are here in Miami. So they're like an organization basically. So they do fundraising throughout the course of the year, and so so basically when Carnival finishes, the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, planning for the next Carnival starts already, like immediately after. There's no let's wait till October. No, planning starts the day after. And if you know that you're going to go to Carnival in Trinidad the next year again, you book your tickets from before Carnival actually finishes or ends. So you don't wait until, hey, October, November. I think I'm going to book to go to Carnival in February, if everything is on the up. No, because your tickets are going to go up, pricing for lodging is going to go up. And so yeah, and there are people who book their tickets before they are on their plane coming back home for the next carnival the next year.
Oh man, that's like some other events that's here in the states where it's like a people are book they stuff right then and there for the
Hmm.
next year
Exactly.
while the event is going on because
Hmm.
they know where they want to stay at,
Hmm.
and they don't, and they don't want it to be gone when it's time to make that reservation.
Exactly. Yes. So people who so the greatest thing for a lot of these places now, with the inception of Airbnb, and how Airbnbs, have risen in not just popularity but in legitimacy. So before, most people is either you staying at a hotel, or you're catching at somebody's house or somebody's yard, and you don't even mind if accommodations are less than comfortable, because you're not really going to be spending a lot of time sleeping. Okay, just let it be known. So basically, if especially if you go to Carnival with a Trinidadian, a Trinidadian that has family in Trinidad during Carnival, you are not going to be sleeping. Okay, so you can get a shut eye for maybe an hour, and you're off to the next party. And you have your good time. You come back, you eat some food, and and of course we gotta talk about the food in Carnival. Okay, yeah. So it's all, like I said, it's about the parties, fun, the reveling of Juve and Mass, and it's all about just having mad, mad, mad fun.
I want to ask you a question. I don't know if you can answer this, but what are, since you brought it up, what are some of the traditional foods during Carnival?
Oh yeah, man. So obviously, if you're, let's go, Trina. Let's take Trina, because Trina, the main source. So if you're familiar with Trinidadian food, a lot of it is from the Indian culture, Indo Afro and Afro Caribbean, Afro Latin Caribbean. So doubles is definitely one of the prize foods, and doubles is sort of like a small flatbread, um, that's stuffed with um, curry chickpea or curry chana, and then of course, your accompaniments of tamarind sauce, hot sauce, and any other things that they use as accompaniments to that. Roti is big, um, and why these foods? Because these foods are easy to when you purchase them. They're easy to to have in the hand. If you're walking or yeah, and you can consume them, you know, quickly. Not necessarily while you're doing carnival or playing mass or anything like that per se. But the idea is, especially late in the mornings, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, you'll have those things. So roti for sure, sauce, whether it's chicken sauce, pork sauce, chicken foot sauce, um, bourgeois, which is basically cooked up sawfish, bacalao, if you would. And so you could have that with bakes. So bakes is a fried dough um, that's, when it's fried, it puffs up, creates a nice cool space in between. And one of the other prize foods on the street is bacon shark, not shark and bake. Okay, bacon shark, because it's all about the bakes. The shark could be cool, but if you don't have a good proper bake, that's tender, um, you know, got some good flavor to it, a nice color on the outside. Yeah, your bake. It's all about the bake, and then so shark meat. And but if you don't have shark meat, you could use some other fish. I don't know why, or you can use some other kind of protein, whether that's shrimp or chicken, blah blah blah. But shark and bake is a big thing, and and the rotis, that you got your different styles of roti, curry goat roti, chicken roti, shrimp roti, vegetable roti, what I say, curry goat roti, duck roti, beef roti, and the roti shells. They are two distinct type roti shells. One you call bus up shot, and it's a plain or paratha shell, you know, plain dough that's kneaded, rolled out in a nice large flat disc, cooked at an instrument called a talwa. It's a metallic, sort of pan curved that's put on heating element or heating surface, gets really hot, and then once you lay your shell out, it's cooked on the talwa. Flip it over, and they beat it up with some sticks to create those that fluffiness and flakiness. um or if you don't want to bust up shot and you keep the roti shell cooked, then you can stuff it with all, whether it's proteins, the goat, chicken, whatever. And then of course, on top of those, you got spinach or bhaji, pumpkin puree, other stuff that you can put in the roti, wrap it up, and make a nice big fat ass sandwich, boy. So um, you know, yeah. And so those are some of the the cool type food. There are others too. I mean, your traditional jerk, of course, is there, whether it's there in Trinidad or the other islands. There's stuff that's made with provisions meaning ground food, yams, or bananas, dumplings, all that good stuff. So there's tons and tons and tons of food because because of the different carnivals and the different islands, they're going to represent, culturally, from that standpoint. But yeah.
Okay, and then the next thing I would say, if you was, and we're gonna keep it on Trinidad. If you was in Trinidad, what you drinking?
Ah! All right, so it all oh man, my first response wants to be everything. Okay, the first response is every damn thing. You're drinking everything. Okay, you know. But if you are, you know, if you're specializing and you like so Johnny Walker, Johnny Walker Black, definitely a big thing there. Regular Johnny Walker. Um, of course, Johnny Walker for sure. But of course, rum, 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 rum. A lot of rum, and of course, over the last, our black or gold or brown liquor here? Hennessy.
In the Tennessee.
Hennessy, is now big there, because people are, diversifying the thing that are, but
Oh,
rum,
so
Johnny Walker for sure. Yeah, vodka. Yeah, but Johnny Walker, people drinking Johnny Walker like it's water, bro. Literally like it's water. And of course the beers, Stag beer, and I forgot what the other beer in Trinidad is called. So you're drinking a lot of that stuff in terms of alcohol. And when you get tired of alcohol and you want to sober up, now you're gonna drink you some corn soup, bro. Either corn soup or cow heel soup. And it is exactly what the name says. It is, the heat, the foot of the cow,
the
the curb,
hoof,
yeah,
the
the hoof,
cud,
yeah, them feet, boy. When you take off them hoofs and clean it up, and it's nice and, yep, cook that down. And so when that soup is done, it's nice and gelatinous. You got some corn up in there, you got some pumpkin up in there, and you gotta have some dumplings, dog. You gotta have some dumplings, dog. Yes. Yeah. So at the end of your parties, and your party finishing, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're tired and you want to get a little sustenance, then corn soup is definitely what you're going to be drinking as you're leaving and you're going probably to the next party, or the next event or whatever that
six
is.
o'clock in the morning. You going to the next party?
Look here, dog. People come from the States and go to Trinidad thinking that, they're ready. No. And when I say I'm not exaggerating, okay, you can literally go to a party from, say, 7 o'clock in the evening, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening to midnight. You can go and then leave and go to another party from 2 till 6 in the morning, and you can leave that party and go to another party from 6:30 in the morning that probably ends at about 11, and you can leave that party and go to another party that is going on. So it's this is not an exaggeration. This is how it really is. So people come there and thinking, oh yeah, we gonna party, and they're ready to go to bed, at 11 o'clock. That's no, no,
Kendra.
no, 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 no. It's like, what do you mean? We just left the party. No, 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 man. That party ain't a good party. You ain't going to the good party, no.
That was the warm up party.
That was a warm up party. All right. And so the parties, they're not called parties, they're called fetes. Yeah, we go to fete. We don't go to party, we go to fete. And so when I said, save your money. So each fete that you go to, you're spending a basic minimum about $150. Okay, so you gotta pay to go in. So that could be $75, $100, could be $125. Plus, you're gonna buy some drinks. You know, so by the time and so that's one party. So if you're probably gonna go, maybe average, maybe 5 parties while you're there. If you spend like a 4 to 5 day, and that's just on parties. So spending 5, 6 grand on Carnival is small change, baby. So you gotta go there prepared, you know, to
Five,
take
six grand
extra.
without the
Yeah,
costume.
yeah, and we didn't even factor in costumes yet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when you go, you want to save up your money, so you can enjoy the carnival. But if you have good friends, that still have family in Trinidad, if you're able to defer some of your lodging costs, that's a huge, huge expense that gets taken. Give some money and stuff like that. But yeah, but the drinking, brethren, um, the drinking is mad. Like, and so when I went to Trinidad, in 2011. So here's the thing that blew my mind. So I get off the plane, and so when you're leaving anywhere, you go through customs, blah blah blah, and then you or you no, you go through you go to duty free or whichever something you go to duty free before you go to the final customs to the airport airplane. You buy your duty free liquor to go home. That ain't how it works in Trinidad for Carnival. So here's several things that are happening when Carnival starts, the week of Carnival, prior to Juve and all that stuff. Banks are closed. Towards the closer you get to certain to the weekend, most stores are closed. Liquor stores might be closed to us, right? So if you're staying in a hotel and you don't know where no damn liquor store is, and you don't know where you can who you can ask, so you're gonna buy it at the first point that you can get it. So when you go into Trinidad during Carnival, the duty free is reversed. You can go into the duty free shop to buy your stuff and load up, and then just come through customs. It literally blew my mind, Bridget. People in little shopping carts, Hennessy and Hypnotic and rum and vodka and shit. It's like, yeah, man, we gotta load up now because ain't no place, and so that's a beautiful. So this is one of the beautiful things of Trinidad. It's like a holiday, and we're not talking 1 day holiday. We're talking several days. So that at least the Wednesday before the weekend, everything shuts down. Banks close, everything closed. People because everybody gotta go do their thing for Carnival. Yeah, man, it's amazing.
Okay, well, I brought up the food part and the liquor part because I know because in Trinidad when it takes place, people get all that go through all that because after that they're going through Lent. So there's no more of that for the next
Yeah,
next 40
right,
days for the next month. They're
right for
they're
the next month. So if when you're in, so another of the experience in Trinidad, and it's this is like the craziest thing. So at midnight, at the stroke of midnight for Ash Wednesday, you know, several hours before, you out whining and gyrating and bopping and juking galp and chuck and everything, and you bubbling pan a girl pan the ground, and she doing the same thing, and a girl pan chuck and everything. And you go through mass, and you cross over and stage and everything at the stroke of midnight, James. It's as if God came and just opened his arms and all was silent. You don't hear jack squat. You wake up the next morning and it's like birds are chirping. It literally like nothing happened the last several weeks, especially the last weekend. And so because not everybody has gone through the whole carnival, whether it's for the weekend, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is, you are now exhausted. And one of the things that most people do is to go to the beach. And Maracas Bay Beach is the one of the popular spots to go. And so basically you just go and you wind down and you start the banking. So and the whole that the banking thing
mm-hmm.
is now is like withdrawal, brethren. You like now you're starting to go through the withdrawal process, and that is not an exaggerate. That's like a real thing because I experienced it. When I went and I came back to the States. It took me 2 months for me to literally get back down to earth. Okay, the constant you know the vibe of the music in your ears in your head. You could be just standing and just the music is nothing, no music is playing, but you hear it in your head, and the vibe that you feel it's sort of, it takes over you like your whole soul. And so now you're going through this whole thing because you want to go back and you wish it wasn't done. And it takes you a little while to go through all of that. But the Maracas Bay is a whole day of just relaxation, wind down, get some food, be there with family, and don't even do jack.
Okay. So well, you went through it earlier, and I can't even where some of these places that have carnival. I'm gonna try to run through this list right now. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to pronounce all these. This looks like it's the schedule for 2022.
Okay.
You got Grenada,
Mm-hmm.
February 23rd.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then
Yep.
you got a Carnival in San Pedro. That's the 24th. That's in Belize,
Okay.
San Pedro, Belize. The 24th of February through March 2nd. Then you got what is this, Martinique Carnival? It's Saint Pierre, Martinique, 24th through the 2nd again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Carnival de Ponce in Ponce, Puerto Rico, the 25th through the 22nd, through the 25th of February through March 1st. Then you got Carnival and all these happening during the same time. So you got to make a real choice.
Yeah, you got it.
Carnival,
Yeah.
Carnival in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, the 25th of February through March 5th.
Okay.
You got Aruba, Carousel, and I don't know what this is, but it says February 27th, the Bonaire Carnival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you have the mother of all carnivals, Trinidad and Tobago Carnival, Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, February 28th through March 1st.
There you go.
Then you got Dominican Republic, which is mostly the entire month, but
Mm-hmm.
February 28th will be the main date of the celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, let's see, Guadalupe, Guadalupe, island wide, March 1st. Haiti, March 1st, but that date is subject to change. You got
Right.
St. Thomas Carnival, April 2nd through May 1st.
Yeah. That's after Easter.
Yeah. What is this? Grenada? No, no, that's the British Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, April 15th through the 18th. Then you got
You got
Jamaica.
Saint. Yeah. Jamaica is usually right after Easter. That first
Yeah,
week
the
after Easter.
21st through the 26th of April.
Okay.
The Bahamas, Nassau, April 29th. And then you got Martine, St. Martin Carnival is April 30th, 22nd. Venezuela, June
Mm.
16th.
Ooh.
Then you have St. Vincent,
Ooh. Vincy Carnival, boy.
yeah, and that's in July 4th through the 5th.
Yeah, buddy.
St. Lucia,
Yep.
July 14th through the 21st.
Hmm. I mean,
Then you got
I forgot somebody's carnival next year. Besides, if it's not Trinidad, I gotta go to somebody's carnival next year.
Cuba. Cuba's on is July 18th through the 27th.
Okay.
You got Antigua and Bermuda, the 23rd through the 2nd. Well, July 23rd to August 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
went through that. Uh, 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 uh. Then we go to I
Yeah,
thought
Barbados should be right there in August because that's crop over, and crop over is significant. Not in what its name says and what it represents.
mhm,
Um, usually the ending of the planting season, the sugarcane season. Um, right there, and huge celebration when all of that stuff is done. The celebrating the harvest, celebrating just everything. So crop over in Barbados, it's as even though it's a small island, it's
mhm.
definitely a huge thing, for the Bajan people there in Barbados.
Yeah, I don't have that on my list. It should be, but I don't have it on. Oh yeah, it is right here. It still says to be announced.
Yeah, because they having issues still. All these Caribbean islands right now, they're still having issues when it comes to COVID.
Mhm,
So, um, you know, they're some of them can figure out whether or not to still go through with it. But I know Trinidad. You know, I guess they have a date, and that's all of these carnivals in the Caribbean islands is subject to what happens with COVID down the line. Because
mhm,
there hasn't been Trinidad hasn't had a carnival in 2 years. Didn't have one this year, didn't have one last year.
mhm. So
So people, when I say people are busting and out the seams, so yeah, so I think a lot of people are coming to Miami Carnival,
mhm,
and a lot of people I think went to Labor Day Carnival in New York on the Parkway, Eastern Parkway, but a lot of people are coming down here to Miami because there hasn't been any carnival for them to go to this year. So be prepared. I think a lot of hotels are full. Like it's gonna be good business for Miami and Fort Lauderdale. For the economy, because people are coming in to spend money, and they spend a lot of money. You know, people that travel to these carnivals, they spend a lot of money when they come, and so people are always looking at black people don't spend money, don't have money. I'm like, you haven't met a person that goes to carnival. If you
mhm.
understand, you'll talk some other nonsense and stop talking all that nonsense. And even if black people got money. A lot of black people got money. I mean, not
Yeah,
everybody got a lot of money, but a lot of black people got money to spend.
and we make up the most part of the we spend the most money out of any other ethnic group most of the time. So
Yes, we
we
do.
spent so
Yeah, sad thing is that we probably spend it first before we save it.
yeah.
you know, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that a lot of places that benefit, um, from the influx of people coming in, and so you're talking, a good 40,000 people, throughout the for the whole for the duration, give or take, probably a little more.
Hmm. All right, so I think we covered everything to do with carnival. I ain't mess with you this week. I know you went to the mask Sunday evening. Pray for them
But
Dolphins.
dude, I don't know if I should be in mourning or I should be out there running around trying to find a blade to slit my wrist or something. I don't know, bro, because that's just pitiful, pitiful, pitiful. Oh my god. Oh, that it's like who's coaching these people? You know, I was like, Lord have mercy.
It's not even who coaching them. Are you following what how you being coached?
All that too.
Hmm.
I guess it's both sides of the coin.
Hmm.
Can't blame just one person because as a player, you still got to go out there and perform. You know, and defense. And thank God for quick release plays, slants and shit like that. Else, quarterback would be freaking building a house on the ground.
Hmm.
is bum being has found the foundation because that offensive line, man, is like Swiss cheese. You know, it's porous as hell.
Yeah, yeah.
And the for what they started to do in the last quarter, I'm like, that what happened the first 3 quarters? What the hell? I mean, it was so frustrating to see them doing something positive, but at such a late part in the game, you know, and you just like, where was this all along? Where was this crap? You know, shoot. And of course, follow that up because I really, in all the world of fantasy, if there was a way that Tampa Bay and New England Patriots could both lose, even though they're playing each other, that would be the best for me. They're playing each other, but they both lose.
And I said up, I watched that game, and I was like, it was a terrible game for Tom. But that
Yeah, it
run
was.
game, that run game brought him through.
Yeah.
Fournette
Hmm.
did his thing,
Hmm. Yeah.
and of course, the stars always shining that light. So we won again this week.
The Stars. Is that what they call it now? The Stars? The Dallas
No, no,
Stars? Is that what they
no.
are? The
I'm just
Dallas
telling you because
Stars?
we a star, and we have to shine the light on down on the rest of the league
The
to show
Dallas
them how it's
Stars. Damn
done.
it, damn it, damn it. Yes. Well, I
The-
guess
the-
Teddy forgot to show up at the game on Sunday, bro.
oh, for Denver,
For
man.
Denver.
Uh, I'm gonna say it ain't even that. You might have one game in the season. What's that? They first loss. I think that was their
Yeah, that was
first
their first.
loss.
That was their first loss.
Yeah, you can't. The question is, what is he gonna do next week?
Probably have a better game, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
You
If
know.
it's terrible like that, then we got to start wondering.
Hmm. But I think this year seems like Gruden has gotten his team right where they need to be. They seem focused. They're playing well, even though sometimes they have to play from behind.
I
Like
thought they lost.
yeah, but still, whether they lost or not. I mean, 3-1. Last year they weren't 3-1. That's for sure.
Oh,
You
I
know,
see who they played. They lost to the
yeah,
Chargers. So,
yeah, they struggled last year. I'm surprised that the Rams lost. Because they were playing very well. Um, and I think what the Chargers, they seem like they look like they're going to be a decent team this year as well.
I'm trying to
So
see what the Chargers are 3-1. So, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah.
So, with that being said, Irie, what you got coming up for the rest of the week?
So tomorrow is MIA Soul, and Thursday another episode of Flavor South Florida. Restaurant review for black-owned restaurants, and this week I think we are doing Ivan's Chop House in North Miami and Biscayne. Next week, I'm not sure who we're doing next week. Probably a restaurant up in Delray. And at the end of the month, Ricky Smiley. I think that's October 29th, that Friday. Ricky Smiley for that day, and yeah, boom, 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 yeah, and of course, can't forget, the cookbook, Taste the Islands, culinary adventure in a Caribbean kitchen. Yes, people, get it on Amazon. I can arrange to get you, a signed copy. Just let me know, and I'll let you know how. So that's the dealio with Chef Irie. Blada boom, blada bim.
All right. Well, that has been another episode of the Bridge Podcast. Catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.